What is up YouTube? This is Zane from Team Judgment Ego, and today I'm coming at you with my Madolche deck profile. This deck is built for the April 2015 format where Necros, Burning Beasts and Shadows are all fighting for tier 1. So this format is actually quite balanced in the sense that it's not a one deck dominated format, it's like 3 or 4 decks. However, unfortunately, this deck is only tier 2/3. It's not the best deck right now, but given the right player and given the right build, which I do believe I have, then this deck can actually perform quite decently. Start off with 3 copies of Madolche Angeli. She is incredibly good. Angeli just is the main card of the deck, hands down. And next up, we're on 3 copies of Madeline. She's your search monster. Normal summon her. Get a search off. 3 copies of Madolche Hootcake. This card is one of your main combo pieces. You banish any monster from your graveyard, special summon out a Madolche monster from your deck. Next up, we're running 2 copies of Madolche Mufui. It's a really good card when accompanied with Madolche Angeli. However, by itself, it's not the best card in the deck. It's actually quite useless by itself. That's the reason why I'm running it at 2. Even Hootcake, providing you have a monster in your graveyard, is actually quite relevant by himself. He can actually do something. However, this can't really do that much. The same thing with Madolche Messengerlato. The same can be said in the sense that this card is solely here as a combo piece. It does nothing by itself. So that is it for the Madolche portion of the monster count. Next up, we're running 2 copies of Effect Veiler, and also running 2 copies of Max C. Effect Veiler, it enables me not to play Break for skill, and also provides fodder of a Hootcake in the graveyard. The same thing with Max C, helps you keep up with decks that actually special summon a lot. So Max C and Effect Veiler are really good hand traps, and they act as graveyard food or fuel, as you will, for a Hootcake. Next up, we're running 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. This deck severely lacks consistency, and it struggles to compete with really consistent decks such as Necros. So having Upstart Goblin in here is actually quite good. It just helps the deck compete, and also the 1000 damage, 1000 life point gain, isn't actually too bad, because once you have Tiramisu on board, you just start bouncing back the monsters and they're left with an open field, and you can just poke for damage over 1 or 2 turns. So the 1000 damage bit isn't as bad as you think it would be, especially in this deck, because this is a combo-based OTK deck. So 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. Next up, I'm running 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. While Cliffworts did get nerfed, and this was primarily used by people to stop Cliffworts, I believe that this card is actually quite relevant. If you're going up against the Tellarknights and you can end phase MST that alpha, or any one of their spells, and spell and trap cards for that matter, is really good, because you need to stop them from stopping you in your turn, especially with Madolche, because if you get interrupted in your combo, it can be quite devastating at times. So MST is actually a really good card, and I like it in this deck. I might consider cutting it down to 2 because I'm not actually running it. I might side the 3rd one. However, for the time being, 3 seems to be fitting. So 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. Next up, I'm running 2 copies of Madolche Chateau and 2 copies of Madolche Ticket. Oh, sorry about that. So Madolche Chateau and Ticket. Chateau I still believe to be the better card, but they're both really good. This helps just replenish your resources as your opponent's depleting them, and this helps just beefing up your monsters and recycling everything. It's like creates a gateway between the field and your hand. Just recycles all your monsters back to your hand, which makes it pretty problematic for your opponent. So 2 of each spell cards. Sorry, what am I saying? The rest of the spell cards, I'm running 1 copy of Raigeki. This card is a top deck win condition, I swear it's so good. 1 copy of Book of Moon for flipping stuff face down. And then 1 copy of Double Summon. This is mainly here as a tech choice, but if you can get 2 normal summons off and you have a Madeline or an Angeline hand, it can be really good. So at times, so double summons in here as a tech choice. I just will see how it goes for the time being. You can run it; it's up to you, but at the time being, sorry, I'm just testing how it runs. So double summons in here, see how that goes. And next up, onto traps. So we're running 3 copies of Dimensional Prison. I'm running this mainly just as a form to stop Dante and Construct, because like I said, Burning Abyss and Shadows are starting to see more competitive play, and if you're planning on taking this deck to a regional YCS, you want to have an out to them. Last format, if I was playing this deck last format, I would definitely be playing Mirror Force to stop Cleese and Necros. However, right now, Burning Abyss and Shadows are getting increasingly and worryingly more relevant, so having the Dimensional Prison is pretty decent. So 3 copies of DP. Next up, I'm running 2 copies of Trapstun. This gives you a peace of mind when you're doing your combos. It lets you play, if you flip this in the standby phase, it lets you play your own game and your opponent not worry about what your opponent's doing. So Trapstun, it's just, if you're learning to play this deck, I recommend you do run Trapstun. You run it in multiples actually, because it can actually just help you get to grips with the deck if you're running it. So 2 Trapstons, and also the deck is just having this in a deck is actually it's a useful tool. Having it at your disposal, just being able to negate everything for 1 turn, because all it takes in Madolche is 1 turn, and that could mean that your opponent's whole board has just been wiped out. So Trapston is really good in this deck, particularly. So that's why I like it in here too. For the 1/0s, I'm running 1 copy of Vanity's Emptiness, 1 copy of Madolche Palooza. You all know how good this card is. It's just, don't even have to express my feelings in this card. If you can get it off in the best situation, it's just so powerful. But you need it in the right situation. That's why I believe that Madolche Palooza should always be running Madolches at 1, never at more than 1, because then it becomes inconsistent. You can always search this card out, but having it at more than 1 is not the best choice. But I like it in hit 1, especially it's one of those cards that you just have in here in the hope that you get it off, and you get it off like once in every 2 or 3 matches, which is quite nice. So, 1 copy of Madolche Palooza, 1 copy of Compulsory Evacuation Device for playing around Winder and Construct. Winder is actually becoming surprisingly scary for this deck, because you need to play around that card, because that 1 card can absolutely wreck Madolche. So having the Compulse, having the Book of Moon, and having like the Solemn Warning as well, which I'm running 1 copy of, is actually really good against Winder. So that's why I'm running the outs to Winder, and also I'm running lastly 1 copy of Torrential Tribute for Necros mainly, and also just to nuke the board, which is quite nice. And that is it for the traps. On to the extra deck, I'm running 2 copies of Madolche Queen Tiramisu. The whole deck revolves around getting out this card. It's so good. Tiramisu in this deck is just, oh my gosh, I can't even express in words how much I love this card. It's up there with JD as being one of the best boss monsters of all time. So I really like Tiramisu. No matter what the format, this card will always prevail, which I really admire about the card. So 2 copies of Tiramisu. Next up for the rank 4s, I'm running 1 copy of Silent Onarch, one copy of A Black Ship of Corn, 1 copy of Abyss Dweller, and 1 Castel, let's put that there, 1 copy of Evil Swarm X Tonight, 1 Gagaga Cowboy, and then lastly is like a transition rank 4/rank 3. I'm running 1 copy of Downer Magician, just for overlaying over your combo based rank 3 monsters. On to the rank 3 segment of the extra deck. I'm running 2 copies of Levia, the Sea Dragon, however you wish to pronounce it. I don't actually have an MX Saber Invoker at the moment, so just pretend that this face down Castel is an MX Saber Invoker. Because it's not, you don't need MX Saber Invoker, however, it's just good to have it there. You definitely need Levia. It's vital to your combos. But MX Saber Invoker used to be a vital piece, but now because of Angeli, it's been pushed to the side, and Levia's been a better card. And you also use Downer Magician because both of them are quite relatively weak monsters. Use Downer Magician just to beef them up if you go over it in certain situations. So yeah, 1 copy of Mechwimp as like a stall/offensive rank 3. 1 copy of Acid Golem as like a power push, 3k damage is nice. And lastly, 1 copy of Wind Up Zen Mains as a stall card. So thank you for watching my deck before, guys. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. This is Zane from Team Judgment Yu-Gi-Oh! Signing out. Bye.